Welcome everyone to the ASPA podcast. Today we are with Kelly Coash Johnson. She is the executive director of ASPA, and with Sara Screda, she is the senior director of accreditation, placement, and licensure at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Welcome, ladies. How are you?
Thank you. Doing great.
Okay, thank you for joining us. So, to start, can you first tell us a bit about yourselves and your backgrounds?
You bet. Well, I'm Sara Screda, as you introduced me already, and I'm a native Nebraskan. So, I was in my first chapter of my professional life was a high school teacher and coach and administrator. Before moving into private nonprofit human resources work, and then coming back to the University of Nebraska in the placement and certification role. I have had the pleasure of working with Kelly for a long time, but have also really enjoyed my ASPA membership, been the chair of a couple of committees, and enjoy working with the HR folks in P12 because that's where all the work gets done. So I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm Kelly Coash Johnson, the executive director of ASPA. And I too am a native Nebraskan and feel like I have been following Sara all her career and my own career. So we go back a long ways. I started in Nebraska with the Nebraska Council of School Administrators and working with principals, superintendents, special education directors, and of course, school personnel administrators. I've been at ASPA for 11 years and have had the honor of working really closely with Sara on our educator shortage project. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay, great. So, and today we are talking about the pre-conference sessions we'll be having at the 87th annual conference. So, why don't you guys start by telling me a little about your session and what are you guys talking about?
Sure. So I'll go first. So we are going to talk about leveraging the 5 shifts and candidate personas to impact the educator shortage. So this is work that has kind of come off the heels of the National Educator Shortage Summit and the 5 shifts to address the educator shortage. And we're basically going to go through work of our educator personas to talk about recruitment and retention.
And this really truly builds on all the work up to this point. So if you've been involved or just read about educator shortage work, and you want to move to the next level, this is the next level kind of session.
Yes, and we should have mentioned also it's an interactive session. So it's not just a sit and get, it is going to engage participants on using personas and working through some different scenarios.
And what do you think would motivate someone to come to your session?
Well, it's a morning session, so who wouldn't want to start the day with Sara and Kelly, right?
That's right.
But in addition to that, you know, everyone across the country is struggling to make sure that every classroom has a qualified teacher, and every lunchroom has the employees. Staffing shortages are just continuing to grow. We also know that we're seeing increased alternative or other pathways for people to have some type of license or just get into that classroom to help relieve those staffing challenges. And so this session is actually going to provide dedicated time for those who attend to think about the various candidates that they are actively recruiting or who just pop up on their doorstep to recruit, onboard, retain, all the things, but in ways that will help remove barriers, making the pathways for some of those candidates who want to be teachers and work in education much easier and smoother, in hopes ultimately so that the school districts can have those folks that they need to for those students.
Uh-huh. So, and what would you like attendees to take away from your presentation?
Yeah, so following up with Sara, the pool of candidates is changing. It's not what it was 10 years ago. It wasn't even what it was 5 years ago. And we're hoping by coming to this session, attendees can gain a new perspective, a new way to look at their candidates, to look at their recruiting strategies. And by looking at your candidates and strategies through personas, you get to really dig deeper into how you might be able to change what you're doing to better recruit and ultimately retain this ever-changing pool of candidates that's coming your way.
And so to wrap up the conversation a little, what is one tool or strategy from your session attendees can implement immediately in their own district?
Well, I think the beauty of this session and the fact that it's interactive is it is actually demonstrating an activity, and that makes it sound trite. It's really not. An exercise as you're talking about your own staffing. You could immediately take exactly what you will experience and use it with your team, within a building, for a district. And I think that's really one of the most valuable things. Anytime you go to some kind of presentation or session, you want something that you can immediately use. And that is what you will receive here. In addition, I think it will ultimately make anybody who attends at least have a different perspective or take that minute to think about some of these other alternative pathways or what the candidates are bringing or not bringing to the table in ways that maybe they haven't before based on who they're seeing. And, sometimes when you're just talking amongst yourselves or in your own region, you can be creative, but creative within a box. This session is going to help people think maybe more broadly than they have before as they're thinking about processes, recruitment, retention, and actually those people that will be coming to them to be teachers. So not only is it a little bit theoretical in terms of their thought processes, it is also immediately replicable for people to take back to districts, to buildings, to strengthen and to use that exercise with their folks.
Plus, we're going to give attendees the personas to take back with them. And what my hope is that you don't have to use the exact story of the persona, but use it as a template to maybe make your own personas for your district, to make a storyline of who you either want to recruit into your buildings or who you are recruiting into your buildings. So having those personas to take back with you to utilize is great. And we're hoping to collect some data through our work together during this session that you can also take back, so that when you are either replicating the exercise with your team or your building, or you're wanting to just implement changes, you can actually have the data that says, when we did this as a group together, this is what we talked about, or this is what we learned from looking at this persona. So it's really cool that you're going to be able to take some things back with you and work through some of these different profiles and personas.
And I think that the lasting impact would be, this is a tool that can not only help you maybe identify some problems right away or some solutions you have right away, but can also be used as a building block. So as you are looking at your strategic staffing plan or looking at your onboarding or your induction, knowing who the actual people are will help inform how you might need to expand, enhance, modify, or celebrate the type of support they're getting so that they can be successful and be retained.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, ladies. That sounds like a great session. We look forward to seeing you in Nashville in October.
We know you're going to be there, Karen. You're going to come.
I am going to be there. Yes.
Can't wait.
We can't wait.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.